Here's the last point. The discipline of the father. Do you know that a true father, if a father truly loves a child, do you know what they do? They discipline them. They don't let them just run wild. They don't let them just do whatever they want to do. That's not a good father. Have you met people that, man, goodness gracious, I got to be careful here too. I had someone even this week that called me, or actually it was a friend of a friend, whatever, and they were like, I just want people to support me no matter what I do, basically was kind of what they were saying. And I agree with that. You love people. You support people. But I'm telling you, when people are just getting out into blatant sin and rebellion, I'm not going to patronize you and pat you on the back and like, oh, God bless you. That's just great. And God doesn't do that to us. He doesn't. You know, I saw a commercial one time, and this dad was coming down on his daughter. And she said, why do you do this to me? And the dad said, because I love you. And she said, could you love me less? Does that make sense? When someone truly loves you, they're willing to get in your face. They're not just going to patronize you and pat you on the back and tell you everything you want to hear. Thank God. That makes brats when you do that. But when you're disciplined, it goes well with you. Okay, I'm going to read some scriptures before y'all stone me here. Let me tell you this first. There's only two responses that a child can have toward their father. Either obedience, which leads to blessings, we know this, or rebellion, which leads to discipline. I'm telling you, if you're saved and you're rebellious, life is not going to be fun. You should have just stayed a heathen. You really should have just stayed a heathen and just done whatever you wanted to do. Now, you would have had hell to pay. We understand this. But at least you'd have had full reign to do whatever you wanted to do. But when you realized, man, I'm a mess and I need God, and you got saved, you inherited a father who's not just going to let you go wild because he loves you. And some people get so annoyed because God loves them so much. Why won't you just let me do what I want to do? Because I love you, and you're going to go down a really destructive path, and I don't want that for you. Is that making sense? We've all got the t-shirt on that deal, right? We've all disobeyed God and really not had fun. I'm going to tell you something in case anybody's asleep. This may be a little bit of shock value, but I'm going to wake you up. God is literally trying to love the hell out of you. Do you hear what I'm saying? We've all got hell in us, and God's trying to love it out of us. We've all got these things that are anti-God and anti-truth and anti-His way, and God is trying to love those things out of us. Is it so that He can have a big self-esteem and an ego, or is it for us? Think about it. I think sometimes we think God's on a power trip. No, He's very secure, with or without you. He's very secure, I promise. He disciplines you for you, not for Him. He disciplines you for your own sake. So I'm going to read this in Hebrews chapter 12. You have not resisted to the point of shedding blood in your striving against sin. And you have forgotten the exhortation which is addressed to you as sons. My son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor faint when you are reproved by Him. For those whom the Lord loves, He disciplines, and He scourges every son whom He receives. It is for discipline that you endure. God deals with you as sons. For what son is there from whom his father does not discipline? But if you are without discipline, of which we have all become partakers, then you are an illegitimate child and not a son. Furthermore, we have earthly fathers who discipline us, and we respected them. Shall we not much rather be subject to the Father of spirits and live? For they disciplined us for a short time as seemed best to them, but He, the Father, disciplines us for our good, so that we may share in His holiness. All discipline for the moment seems not to be joyful, but sorrowful. Yet to those who have been trained by it, afterwards it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness. Goodness gracious, that is so good. If you trust your Father, if you know that He's all good and He's all love, you will allow Him to discipline you. And when you disagree with Him, you'll still let Him win because you know He's right. Does that make sense? The longer we fight against a perfect, loving Father, our life just really never gets off the ground. It just kind of never gets traction. It's just kind of pointless. But when we finally understand, I have a Father. He loves me, And He's not just going to let me get away with anything I want to do because He loves me. We'll start actually respecting that about the Father, and we'll actually start following Him. Does that make sense? This is good news. This is not bad at all.